Today, we're diving into one of the most iconic stories in sneaker and hip-hop history, the Adidas El Dorado, a shoe that didn't just walk the streets, but transformed them. How did a basketball sneaker find its way into the feet of hip-hop legends Run-D.M.C. and into the hearts of millions? Stick with me as we unpack this cultural phenomenon and discover why the El Dorado remains unforgettable. In the early 1980s, hip-hop wasn't just a music genre, it was a movement. It came with its own language, its own attitude, and its own style. Leading this revolution was Run-D.M.C., a group from Queens, New York, that redefined what it meant to be a star. Unlike their flashy predecessors, Run-D.M.C. kept it raw. Leather jackets, gold chains, Kango hats, and Adidas sneakers. These weren't costumes, they were a statement. And among their Adidas collection, the El Dorado stood out. Released in 1987, this high-top sneaker was part of a special Run-D.M.C. line inspired by luxury American car models like the Cadillac Fleetwood, the Cadillac Brougham, and the Ultra Star. The El Dorado kept it sleek and stylish with smooth leather uppers, bold trefoil logos, and the innovative ID foot wrap for comfort. It wasn't just about functionality, it was about identity. In 1986, Run-D.M.C. released a song that would cement their legacy and Adidas' place in hip-hop history. My Adidas wasn't just a track, it was an anthem for the streets. For those that wasn't around during that time, here's the commercial. It celebrated the culture and pride of wearing Adidas, turning what critics called delinquent style into a badge of honor. The turning point? A performance at the Madison Square Garden where Run-D.M.C. asked the crowd to raise their Adidas sneakers. Thousands did, creating an unforgettable moment that Adidas executives couldn't ignore. This led to a groundbreaking endorsement deal, the first between a music group and a global brand. Adidas just didn't ride the wave of hip-hop, they embraced it. At the forefront of their partnership, the El Dorado sneaker. The partnership wasn't just about selling sneakers, it was about creating a cultural movement. The Adidas Run-D.M.C. collection, featuring models like the Fleetwood, the Brougham, and the Ultra Star, celebrated hip-hop's bold and unapologetic style. The El Dorado, it stood out. While the Fleetwood featured exotic snakeskin leather, the El Dorado stayed versatile and iconic. Its bold trefoil logos on the tongue and heel, paired with the ID foot wrap technology, made it street-ready and instantly recognizable. Now, we talk about the ID foot wrap technology. It was an elastic piece that was inside the sneaker, so when Run-D.M.C. wore their Adidas without shoestrings, the shoes wouldn't flop up and down. A little nugget for you. For Run-D.M.C., the El Dorado symbolized more than a shoe. It was their connection to the people. For Adidas, it was a ticket to global relevance in youth culture. This collaboration didn't just sell sneakers. It created a blueprint for every streetwear partnership that followed. Even decades later, the Adidas El Dorado remains an icon. It represents a time when sneakers transcended sports to become symbols of culture, identity, and rebellion. Run-D.M.C. didn't just wear sneakers, they gave them a voice. They proved that style wasn't just about fashion, it was about who you are. Today, the El Dorado is more than just a collectible. It's a reminder of the partnership that bridged hip-hop and the global stage. This is living proof that a sneaker can tell a story. The Adidas El Dorado was released in 1987. I was 13 years old when this sneaker debuted. As a Detroiter, we loved hip-hop. We embraced hip-hop, the rebellion of hip-hop, the lyrics, the style, and everything. But this sneaker, a lot of cats was wearing these, a lot of the drug dealers from back in the day and a lot of the OGs from back in the day, young adults, young men, young women. And this sneaker reminds me of that time, that summer of 87 going into 88. I remember cats used to wear the Adidas tracksuits with these. Adidas back in the day used to make these big, bulky sweaters that you wore, and they had all type of print in the back, the Adidas logo embedded everywhere. And they was wearing the Adidas El Dorado. And I tell you, when I think about this sneaker, it brings back so many memories from my childhood being a young teenager. I just want to point out some quick characteristics about this sneaker. If you look at the Adidas El Dorado, one thing I love about Adidas, and if you watched my videos in the past, you know I am a fan of old school high top Adidas. And one thing that brings back so many memories is this Dillinger web, was supposed to resemble a basketball net, commonly worn with the Adidas form and some other Adidas from back in the 80s. One big difference between the Brome and the Fleetwood has snakeskin over, as you can see, and the Brome is just smooth leather with a big Adidas logo on the tongue, Adidas in the back, the material right here, suede material. It's a beautiful sneaker. The one that was made in the 80s looks better than the one that was retro recently, but nonetheless, that old school Adidas bottom, man. I tell you, man, sneakers tell a story, but in my world, Adidas of the 1980s tell a story. It defines my youth, my young teenage years. I'm 50 years old right now, and I'm still a fan of 80s era Adidas sneakers. And I doubt that will ever go away. Thanks for watching this episode of the Nomadcast Experience here on YouTube. If you loved and enjoyed this storytelling episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And drop a comment in the comments. What's your favorite sneaker story? I definitely want to hear about it. Until next time, keep exploring, keep remembering, and as always, walk your path your way.